So maybe you've been to Mexico to enjoy its warm weather and beautiful vistas. But aside from a fun destination for vacationers, did you know Mexico's history spans more than 3 millennia? From the ancient civilizations that left their mark on the region to the modern challenges and opportunities that it faces today. Let's begin our journey. Let's begin our journey. The first humans arrived in Mexico more than 13,000 years ago, following the migration of animals across the Bering Strait. They settled in different regions, adapting to the varied climates and landscapes. Some of the earliest cultures were the Olmecs, who carved giant stone heads along the Gulf Coast, and the Maya, who created magnificent cities and excelled in science, art, and architecture. Around 200 AD, a new civilization emerged in the Central Valley of Mexico, known as Teotihuacan. This was the largest and most influential city in pre-Columbian America, with a population of over 200,000 people. It had a monumental architecture, including the famous Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, and a sophisticated urban planning. Around 1200 AD, nomadic tribes arrived in the Central Valley from the north. They were the Mexica, or Aztecs, as they are commonly known. They founded their capital, Tenochtitlan, on an island in Lake Texcoco, building a remarkable city with canals, bridges, aqueducts, and temples. The Aztecs expanded their empire through warfare and tribute and created a cosmopolitan society with rich mythology, literature, and art. They also practiced human sacrifice as a way of honoring their gods and ensuring the balance of the universe. The Aztec Empire reached its zenith in the early 16th century under the rule of Moctezuma II. However, its fate changed dramatically in 1519 when a Spanish expedition led by Hernán Cortés landed on the coast of Veracruz. Cortés and his men, along with some native allies, marched towards Tenochtitlan, where they were received by Moctezuma. The Spaniards took advantage of the political and religious divisions among the Aztecs and eventually captured and destroyed their capital in 1521, ending their empire. The Spanish conquest marked the beginning of the colonial era, which lasted for almost 300 years. The Spaniards imposed their language, religion, and culture on the native population, who were exploited and oppressed. The colonial society was divided into castes based on race and ethnicity. The mestizos, or people of mixed European and indigenous ancestry, formed the majority of the population and developed a distinctive identity and culture. The colonial era ended in 1821 after a decade of war and revolution, led by figures such as Miguel Hidalgo, José María Morelos, and Agustín de Iturbide. Mexico became an independent nation, but faced many challenges and conflicts, both internally and externally. Important events of this period were the Mexican-American War, which resulted in the loss of half of Mexico's territory to the United States, the Reform War, which pitted liberals against conservatives, and the French Intervention, which installed a foreign emperor, Maximilian I, on the Mexican throne. The 20th century was marked by the Mexican Revolution, which began in 1910 and lasted for more than a decade. The revolution was a social and political movement that aimed to overthrow the dictatorship of Porfirio Diaz and create a more democratic and egalitarian society. The revolution was led by charismatic leaders such as Emiliano Zapata, Francisco Villa, and Venustiano Carranza, who fought for different ideals and interests. The revolution also produced a vibrant artistic and cultural expression known as the Mexican muralism, which used public walls as canvases to depict the history and struggles of the Mexican people. Some of the most famous muralists were Diego Rivera, Frida Kahlo, and José Clemente Orozco. The revolution gave way to the establishment of the Institutional Revolutionary Party, PRI, which dominated Mexican politics for most of the 20th century. The PRI claimed to represent the ideals of the revolution, but in reality, it became a corrupt and authoritarian regime that suppressed dissent and opposition. The PRI also pursued a model of economic development known as the Mexican Miracle, which brought rapid growth and modernization, but also increased inequality and social problems. The 21st century has brought new challenges and opportunities for Mexico as it faces the effects of globalization, migration, and violence. It has also become more democratic and pluralistic, as it has witnessed the alternation of power among different political parties and the emergence of new social movements and actors. We've seen strengthened ties with its neighbors, especially the United States and Canada, where it has formed advanced free trade agreements like USMCA, boosting trade and cooperation, but not without its controversies and conflicts. Mexico is a country with a rich and diverse cultural heritage that reflects its complex and turbulent history. It deserves to be known and appreciated for its past, its present, and its future. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please subscribe and share with your friends.